Hello and welcome to the very first Splinter Studios podcast, live from our brand new Splinter Studios space station. It's the new room that we've built to house all your multimedia needs. So whether that's if you want to do a podcast like this, or if you want to do video, any kind of YouTube style, if you want to do some voiceovers, pretty much anything. We've built a nice looking space. We've got some really fancy lights above my head at the minute. So it's all meant to look very good. It's something that we're going to be looking to invest in over the coming months. So if you do want to get involved, make sure you get in touch with us. So today, I'm joined by Lee Judge. Lee is well known in the local music scene. I'm sure many of you will have heard of Lee, or if not, he's someone that you should get to know. He's well clued up on all of his local music. So the story with Judgestock and me goes back a long time. I mentioned in the podcast that I went to Hateley Heath Club, one of the very early Judgestocks, to see a local band called The Attic that I used to follow, an indie band that did really well. And I've been going throughout the years. I've seen numerous bands. I went to watch my dad's band when I was a teenager at the Public. I remember seeing there was a Beatles tribute on just before him and watching him carrying all the gear in. To then playing it myself at the Grits Green Social Club, and then from there I've been lucky enough that Lee got in touch about wanting to use Splinter Studios as the venue for it. I remember the phone call when Lee got in touch with me. Actually, I was in the pub garden of the Queen's Head in Wednesbury, and he phoned me and just said we're looking at potentially moving to the studio, and really buzzing. It's something that we wanted to be involved with, and it's such a big event, and me and Josh really wanted to get involved in doing events like that. So to get the opportunity, and I said to Lee at the time that we'd be interested, and the next thing I know, it was live on Facebook everywhere that they're hosting it at Splinter Studios. But we've not looked back since. We've had 2 years of it, and it's been a really good experience. Obviously, we missed the last one, but yeah, it's back in 2021. Really exciting times. It's good to have Lee and all the gang back together. So we're excited about that. So I had a really good chat with Lee today. Just finished talking to him. He talks really well. He's got so much to say, and he's very passionate. You can see how passionate he is. And he gets quite deep. I could see the emotion in his face when he was talking about the people that they'd lost along the way. And I can see it means a lot to him. And having done similar events like this, it takes such a lot of hard work. So for him to be doing it and always giving it to charity, you have to applaud him. So I really appreciate Lee for taking the time to come down. So, without further ado, I'm going to pass over to my conversation with Mr. Lee Judge, talking about Judgestock. Right, so today I'm joined with Mr. Lee Judge, who's the brains behind Judgestock. He's told me that they refer to him as the gaffer. How you doing, Lee?
I'm all right, mate. I'm all right.
Yeah, it's good to see you again after all this time. It's good to be back at it again. Like you're really well known in the scene for all your all the gigs and all the live events that you do. So
yeah.
I bet you can't wait to get cracking again, can you?
I'll tell you, I can't wait. It's been a long slog. It's been difficult. I do a lot.
Yeah.
I haven't been cooped up for so long. I've just found it so hard, and I just cannot wait to get back to it.
So we got 4th of September.
Yep.
2021.
Yep.
That's the next Judgestock.
Yep.
Date.
Can't wait.
Everything going to plan so far?
Yeah, it's mad. I could have booked it twice over for the amount of interest, and I just hope the tickets go as well as the interest.
Yeah.
You know what I mean, from the bands. So yeah, we got some really good acts this year.
So how long has Judgestock been going? You're saying this is
26 years,
26
but obviously
years.
we missed last year because of COVID. So I started when I was 20 years old.
Yeah.
And I've done it every year since. It wasn't the plan. The plan was to do a charity show as a one-off. And then one of my mates from the band that I was in at the time says, you should do this annually. And that's how it come about. And everybody sort of started expecting it then.
Yeah.
So I carried on, and it just grew from what it was to what it is now.
Where did you start it? What venue were you at?
It was called, I have to remember this now, 'cause it was it was the Legion up Lombard Street in West Brom.
Okay.
It was a little club, social club. And our bass player, Mr. Vincent, who's in the SP band now.
Yeah.
His brother-in-law and sister were running it at the time, and that's how we got in. And it turns out one of the girls who's now one of my volunteers, who has been from the day dot, her dad was the chairman, so we sort of did it there.
Yeah.
You know, and the rest was history, really.
So you were saying that first one weren't Judgestock, was it? Wasn't
No.
called Judgestock?
It weren't called Judgestock for years. I just did a charity show, and just every year we decided to change the charities and keep doing them for various charities.
Yeah.
And then it came about. The name came about, which I'll get into later, I would imagine. But it came about because a friend got involved at a later point, and asked if he could put a name to it. You know what I mean? And it sort of went from there.
Right. Okay. Because it's always been charity based, hasn't it?
All of it, yeah.
So that's been because I've been aware of it for a very long time, and I've been lucky to play several of them now.
Yeah.
But so it's always been a big charity drive, and it must have been hard over the years because I know myself putting on events. It's a nightmare, isn't it?
Oh yeah,
it's festivals of this size as well.
It's ridiculous.
So for you to not get the payoff.
Yeah. I mean, what people don't understand is every single penny we make, once all the costs have been paid, and we say when I say costs, because I'll be very careful with costs, because people think bands get paid and this gets paid. It doesn't. All it covers is the hire of the PA.
Yeah.
And it may buy like a couple of cans for the bands.
Yeah.
And when I say a couple, it is just 2 each.
Yeah.
You know, and it's not a lot really. When you think bands give up their time, you know, we'll give like them a +1, you know, as well. Not as in payment, but then I think it would be a bit of a piss take really if you let a band play, then you charge their misses in.
Yeah.
I mean, 99% of the bands, their misses will pay anyway because it's all charity.
Yeah.
But every single penny that we raise goes to the charity. And every single year we have to start from scratch again.
Yeah,
we have nothing in the bank, nothing. Yeah. It's always just donated straight to the charity.
That's amazing. Do you know how much you've made over the years? Have you got? Because I know that
it's ridiculous.
You've been smashing your targets, haven't you? Like year on year.
I've been working for Empower now 13 years. So every year they've been doubling whatever we've raised. I mean, we've done 10 grands and 50 grands, and you know what I mean. And it's just all been doubled by Empower.
I was going to say, a couple of years ago, you did the big shave, didn't you?
Oh,
For anyone that's not met Lee, he's got a big hench beard.
Yeah.
And there's a few hundred people gathered around to watch you shave the beard off. It was like the highlights. There was like 2 days worth of bands on, and the highlight was you getting your beard shaved off.
Oh, yeah. But it was, I mean, we raised 8 grand for that.
That's amazing.
You know, with the show as well. But we've got quite a big, sum of money from me just shaving my beard. And I thought, what could we do different?
Yeah.
And then this Brave the Shave came out, and I thought, well, I've got no hair on the top of my head, so I've got it loads on my beard, so all on my chin. So I just said, I'll do that for a charity and do it for Brave the Shave.
That's amazing.
And I got plenty of coverage at work, and there was loads of people from our work donating who didn't really, they know me as a colleague, but they don't know me outside of work, you know. Yeah. And it sort of inspired other people to do it within the, in the office.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
That's wicked. Because you've got like a really strong team of people that help you as well.
We have, yeah.
They've followed you because I've known you at 3 or 4 different venues, and they've followed you. Obviously, you're doing it from Splinter now.
I mean, without them, I wouldn't be able to do it. I mean, it's trying to organise bands and organise everything else, and trying to work the door as well as. Yeah. It's impossible. So, I mean, Lex, really, I got to give Lex a shout out because Lex doesn't like being in front of cameras. No,
we tried to get her on.
Yeah, we did. Yeah.
I talked to her the other day, tried to get her to come down, but no, it wasn't happening.
Yeah, she won't even get on stage and let me show her appreciation, for what the work she puts in for us, because without Lex, I couldn't do it, know, and we've built up a team of people, who they come every year, and I can't ask for no more. You know what I mean? They're so generous and kind and lovely people. That just donate their time for free every single year, come along, and it's like we call it the Judgestock family now, and it is.
Yeah,
they're all part of the family, like the team.
Yeah.
I've got Marigold, Chris, Andre's with us now as well. Paul Bavin's been with us, God, from day one.
Yeah.
When I started it, I always use Paul, and I always will stick. I always get people coming up to me, I could do it cheaper than this, and I can do it better than that.
Yeah.
But then I know I can trust Paul. Yeah. You know what I mean? And that's why I'll stick with him. If I'm not happy with something, I can just tell him, and he listens and he does what we ask.
It's important, isn't it? Especially because you're not making a fortune out of this.
You're not making anything.
So
you know what I mean?
you need the right people around you that understand what the event is. They know the kind of audience that are coming. So to be able to put that to the crowd, and you need the right people.
Well, that's it. I mean, Paul. I mean, it sounds a lot when you hire like 2 PAs off him. I mean, this year he's donating the stage. I mean, he donates that much to us.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? The lights, don't even charge us for the lighting when he brings the lights and stuff. He does actually work with us, you know.
Yeah.
And you go out to a Tesco's or an Asda and say, do you want to donate a raffle prize? It's always the same story. It's always, we've given enough for charity this year. We've got our own brand and we do our own thing. And people don't realise how bloody hard it is. If you've done a charity gig, they'll understand.
Yeah.
You know, they just think, can't believe the Albion wouldn't give us a ball, or, you know.
Yeah.
But then they've got thousands of people asking them to donate.
Yeah, of course they
You know, so the appreciation of the people who do donate to us, you know, you can't put it into words, really.
Yeah.
We appreciate everything that we get, you know.
Well, there's been a similar festival run over the years that I've been aware of, but I never really understood. So maybe for the people listening, because there's another festival called Judgestock. So when I tried to do a little bit of research before coming today, and when you Google Judgestock, the two of them kind of run side by side. Like you can see that there's crossover somewhere.
See, Judgestock, there's a lot of a big story in this. Judgestock was it when I started. My show never had a name, so I moved from doing it at the Globe pub in Hilltop, and then because it was growing and growing, it was getting bigger and bigger, and we needed somewhere bigger to do it. So the Hatley Heath Club, which both are knocked down now, so you know, we moved to the Hatley Heath Club, and the first year that I did it there, my dad had sort of reconnected with Tony Meehan.
Yeah.
You know, so Tony's got a lot of, for the way it grew, Tony has a lot of input. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So he asked me if I could do something for a charity that he was doing a lot of marathons for, Action Heart, and it was close to his heart. And I said, yeah, no worries, because I changed every year, like I said.
Yeah.
And then Tony sort of got involved, and then he said, would you mind if I call it, give it a name?
Yeah.
So that's where the show became Fudgestock.
Was there a reason for Fudgestock? Or?
Well, his nickname at school was Fudge, and so was mine.
Ah, okay.
You know what I mean? Being Judge and fudging, but my cousin sort of started it off, you know, and I mean, for me, it was a nickname that soon, they all call me Judgy now. The Fudge thing lasted a year or two, but I thought, it's got meaning for us both. Yeah. So why not? And to be fair, having a name, it didn't really bother me. It was just a charity show for me. Yeah. But obviously it meant a lot to Tone. So, that's where Fudgestock came about, and Judgestock. There's a not so nice story of how it changed its name, but you know, we've got over it and stuff. And me and Tony had a fallout. I won't go into detail with it, but we had a falling out, and then Tony went his way and I went my way. So I didn't want to be vain, but the easiest thing to do was just change the F to a J, and call it Judgestock. And obviously, you know, everybody said to me, "Oh, it should have been that in the first." I said, "Look, I'm not going to get into that." You know, I didn't really want a name for it. You know, and I never thought it would ever become the monster that it did. Yeah. You know, if I'm honest. But it's part of my life now, and I can't see a year where I do threaten I'm going to give it neck one of these years, and I just can't do it.
You've had a rest from it now as well, so you've got no reason to.
Well, that's the thing. I've had it because I've had a year off now. It's like, man, it's drove me nuts not going to watch live bands. You know what I mean? I think live music's so important, not just for the venues. It's just for the community. It brings people together. Yeah. And like I say, with Judgestock, it brings people together, and the thrill I get from it, when they say, "Oh, you should get paid for it" and stuff, is just looking at people and going, "That's what I did," and I get a buzz from that. Yeah, you know, I mean, being in a band we did well ourselves, and we played big gigs and stuff. I didn't want to be in the limelight as such, so I wanted to take a step back. Yeah. And when I did the one at the park, somebody said, "Well, how's that being in the background going? How well was that going for you now?" Yeah. And I had to take a step back again there, because I was getting people come up to me, and, you know, I mean, crazy things were happening. Like, people were coming, somebody bowed down to me, you know, and you get offered all sorts of crazy stuff.
That don't happen very often, does it?
No, I know, and I said, come on, man, you know, it's just a show, and I've never been one for meeting an idol and going, oh, God, I got to get something to remember and buy, or I need to take a picture. I'm not into that. I was forced to take a picture with Lamar at the park. Yeah. I wouldn't have one with Blue, street cred and everything. I mean, they were a nice bunch of lads and all that, you know what I mean? But I was sort of forced to have a picture took, because I said, someone's got to be the face of Judgestock, and you're the one. Yeah, of course. Like I said, Lex wouldn't do it. It was never going to be Lex. So there was nobody else really who'd been with me that long. So I thought, okay, I'll do it for the crack. But yeah, it sort of put me out there again. Where the following year, then I sort of wanted to take a step back and have a break from it.
Yeah.
You know, so we did it. The plan was to bring it back down to grassroots, really.
Yeah.
And not start again, but just try and mellow it out a bit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So yeah, it's that's how the name Judgestock and Fudgestock sort of came about, because Tony moved to the Robin 2.
Yeah.
And I just continued. I landed the. But I moved to the Queen's Head, actually. It was the Queen's Head pub in West Brom. We did like a 3-day festival there, and that was when it just, you couldn't move in the pub, outside, and obviously the gaffer was very happy, and it does help, local pubs and venues and stuff. And then I got approached by somebody who worked at the Public.
Yeah.
And then, like I said, I went my way at the Public, and then Tony went his way. But then, like I said, we best buddies, man. He's just one of them. Lovers tiff and all that.
You kissed and made up.
Yeah.
I suppose it's worked out all right, because you've both got your separate events now. Is he still doing Fudgestock?
No, I think he's called it a day. I ain't sure if he'll bring it back, but I know he stopped doing it at the Robin. Because I felt for him, because I helped Mike Sermon the one that year, because Tony fell ill and ended up in hospital, having to have an operation, and me and Mike worked together on it and looked after it for him. But it was always give like a bank holiday Monday when people got to go to work on, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
and I know it's great to have the Robin 2 and everything, because it's such a good venue. But on a day like a bank holiday Monday, it's a difficult one to get people in.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
So I did feel for him, and he had some great acts on there.
Yeah.
So yeah, he'll probably bring him back, or we'll probably get together and work together again. You never know. I'll probably get him on board one day, and do something together again.
Well, like you say, because I think the first time I ever came to a Judgestock or Fudgestock, as it might have been at the time, would have been at the Haitley Heath Club.
Yeah.
Came to watch The Attic.
Oh yeah.
Back in the day.
Yeah.
And yeah, I've seen it. So I come to when it was at the Public.
Yeah.
So it seemed like, because the Public was this massively invested building in West Brom that kind of never really earned the money that was spent on it, but it looked so impressive, especially to have the festival there.
Yeah.
But then from that, you even took that to massive heights, like you say, the monster that it became. So in 2013, you did it at Samwell Valley.
I did indeed.
Big open air festival.
Yeah.
You had the likes of Blue, like you said, Lamar, the Twang.
Yeah.
Who else did you have on?
We had Alabama 3.
Yeah.
Very good band. For me, the band of the weekend, they were.
Yeah. Mitchell.
We had Mitch Ems.
Yeah, who'd just come off The Voice at the time.
Yeah, on The Voice, and then obviously the Choir Boys.
Yeah, that was it.
Yeah. And then we supported that with all the tributes. Because my original plan was to do what WV1 Fest and Rock Prest and, Jules Taylor does all his stuff. That was my original plan.
Yeah.
To do like a tribute festival. But I wanted to put it on the back of the Sandwell show and not charge people in and make it a free show.
Yeah.
But I was sort of talked out of that very quickly. I'm not going to, again, go into names and stuff, but I was talked out of that and said, we can do this and we can do that. Now, but I'm looking at WV1 Fest and how successful it is. We could have been doing that again, year on year.
Yeah.
So it's still there in my mind to do it again.
Yeah.
It really is. But then it's all the attention you get with it that it sort of puts me off.
Yeah.
But when we did the Valley, it was amazing. You know what I mean?
It's huge, wasn't it? Because we opened it with my dad. I played guitar for my dad's band, and we were one of the first bands on the second stage.
Yeah.
And it was massive, and we come back, and it was like a proper legit festival, which you think about its humble beginnings, coming from pubs around the Black Country, to all of a sudden you've got the likes of Blue. Whether you like the band or not, they're a very big deal.
Yeah, they drew a big crowd.
Yeah, and you kind of got that different, because it was it 3 days?
3-day festival, yeah. Again, I mean, Judgestock, Fudgestock, it's been a predominantly rock show.
Yeah.
And as we mellowed, I'd say it has to be as I got a bit older and started to mellow out, because I was always into my metal and rock and, but I appreciate all types of music.
Yeah.
So for Judgestock at the Park, we sort of went for a different approach. Rock Day, Indie Day, and Family Day.
Yeah.
Like that's where Blue came from, the Twang, and then obviously the Choir Boys for the rock side of things. But It's a difficult one. I know Glastonbury do it a lot, and I got quoted by saying we're going to be the next Glastonbury in the newspaper. But you know how they like to add a few things. I never said that. I'd love to achieve something similar to what he does and make it a world festival.
Yeah,
do you know what I mean? Get all different cultures involved, and which I think we could have done it.
Yeah.
Sandwell is so diverse. We could have just got the Indian community involved and the Jamaicans or the black community, and it could have been done.
Yeah.
With my brother and that being a DJ as well, and my cousin well into it, we could have put all sorts of entertainment on, and that was the sort of plan for it.
Yeah.
And it was meant to be a 3-year deal, and it just didn't work out that way.
So when you look back at that now, do you take it as a massive positive, or have you got a lot of regrets with it?
Oh no, I got it as a positive.
Yeah.
100%. I always said when I was a little kid, when I first started playing the drums, I'm going to put a show on down the park once.
Yeah.
I remember going down to a show and just being mesmerised by the bands and the acts that were playing.
Yeah.
And I said, one day I'm going to do that. And then Lex actually said it to me. She says, you did it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? We did it. You know what I mean? We did it. And it was just such an achievement, really.
If you never decide to do it again, you've ticked that box.
Yeah,
100%.
You
know it can be done.
100%.
And it was a success.
Yeah.
And it's took Judgestock to that next level.
Yeah.
And like you say, you took the option to bring it back to what it originally was.
Yeah.
Because, like I say, it is such a nightmare putting these events together. I dread to think how much of a nightmare that was. So I don't think anyone would blame you for doing it, but you've always got that option that should you want to take it up there again, you've got the contacts and you've got the ability, but you've also got the experience now of having done the first one.
Yeah. I mean, it's a difficult one because it really does take it out of you. I mean, my hair turned white within a week, and that is no kidding. I had a couple of grey hairs at the side, and it literally went white within 1 week from the stress of just doing things.
Yeah.
I mean, the sleep you get. We were on site for the week before. On the Friday, we never left site till 2 in.morning. I had to be back there at 6 in.morning.
Yeah, because they wouldn't let camping, would they? You did
No,
try to get camping, but
camping is a difficult one, isn't it? I mean, I'd have loved camping and getting people to stay over and stuff.
Yeah.
And I think that was the appeal would have been a lot bigger if we'd have had camping. But then you imagine the extra cost you got to go with that, and the
security,
hassle of security
and cleaning and all that stuff. Yeah,
it's a nightmare, but it is something I'm going to look at. I am actually, which I'll pick up again, probably whether we do it today or on another chat. I'm talking to a couple of promoters at the minute, and we're on about doing something. I've mentioned it to you.
Yeah.
Not on a scale like the park, but somewhere getting bigger and maybe the camping option and
of course.
You know what I mean, have a look at it like that. But I want to try and keep it community based.
Yeah.
I don't want to go up here and try and be a Leeds or a Reading. That's not what I'm trying to do. It's just something I want to put a show on for the local area of Sandwell.
There's something about the smaller bands coming and playing their socks off and trying really hard, but they bring with them people that they know, but discovering them. Like you've had all these different tributes, but there's always like a hidden gem. Every year you stumble across some band that you've never heard of.
Yeah.
And whether it is covers, and you do support a lot of originals band as well.
Yeah,
I remember
at
Grits Green, you had a band from, it was Devon. You got them up from Devon.
Yeah. I'm trying to think of the name. If Andrew ever watches it, sorry. That's because I'm friends with his dad, you see.
Yeah.
And he's a Navy guy. And they had a good band, and when the kids were coming through, he asked me if I could put them on, and they travelled all the way up. And then what they did was sorted out a mini tour because they were travelling from Cornwall.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? All the way up and did a tour up as far as Newcastle.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you've got to encourage the young kids because they're the future at the end of the day.
Yeah, of course.
And for me, rock music seems to be like going into the shadows again.
Yeah.
Like it used to be, what it was in the 80s where, the bigger bands were all in the underground.
Yeah.
And it's starting to do that again. Well, it's already done it, should I say. It's rock sort of not the in thing at the minute. It's all DJing and stuff, which, again, I ain't going to knock that. It's each to their own, and people are all different.
Yeah.
But picking up an instrument and learning it, I just encourage it. It's got to be done. And give them that goal to get on that stage. And that's why we always have a second stage or an acoustic stage. It's because they all want to be on the main stage.
Yeah.
But obviously, we can't cater for everyone on the main stage.
Yeah.
But you get a kid who thinks, right, one day I'm going to play that. It's a bit like what I was like when I was a kid, and I'm going to put a show on.
Yeah, it's a goal for a minute.
Yeah, if they can achieve it, if we can help in any way, that's what we try and do.
Yeah.
And keep encouraging them.
So over the 26 years, has there been any like overriding highlights? Has there been any main, whether it's a band or any particular moment that's been one of the best things that when you think about having done it, like not necessarily, it's not about being the biggest festival, but has there been something that you go, you know what, that was class. That's the reason why I've done this.
I've got to be honest. There was two. The one at the Queen's Head was one that was an event that sticks out for me.
Yeah.
Because if you saw the pub itself, seriously, it was just. And after the year we've had of being locked up, and it was rammed to the rafters.
Yeah.
And the car park was like a sea of people, and because I was in Planet Rock at the time.
Yeah.
And that was my last show with them. Because again, I'd sort of lost the get up and go to play.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I had a chat with them, and we decided to part ways. And I'm still good mates with Planet Rock. There was no ill feeling there, and good lads. I just lost that drive.
Yeah.
But then, so that was when it sort of dawned on me, I'm going to put some more effort into this. And so that one was the one for me that really started and give it that kick that it needed. Because the following year, we went to the public.
Yeah.
Somebody from the public had come down. I'm not sure if they were even working there. They actually got a job later on. It's just come up and see the bar manager and see if you can do it here. And that was what it was. We just got chatting. And they invested in us. They actually sponsored it and paid for all the PA system. So we walked in with no costs. So it was all pure profit, really, for the charity, And at the time, we did it for breast cancer. That was the chosen charity the first year. And it got such a big backing from the press, and we got papers coverage, and from about 2 or 3 local ones, and we had such a big turnout, and that was it. The Judgestock we know now was born really, from the Queen's and then onto the public.
Gives you that fire, doesn't it? When you have a good one, it's like this is where I want to take it, and that's when you can end up at Sandwell Valley and getting these big names. Has there been any particular band or number of bands or acts that have been your favourite over the years? Not any one in particular, but have you had a favourite one that you've watched? Something like, I want them every year if I can.
Yeah, all of them really. To be fair, I can't really put. There was a band that played, and one of them was actually with the Neds now. Yeah, the bass player, and they were a instrumental rock band, and I can't for the life of me remember the name of them. They played the outside stage at the public, and I'll tell you now, they were something else. A friend of mine, Gaz Rowley, came out and said, "You've got to come and check this band out that you've booked." I booked them, you know what I mean, check them out as I do, but then we'd seen it in the flesh. I tell you what, there was something else. And that guy, like I said, he's now in the Ned's Atomic Dustbins. Yeah, but he had the look. I mean, he's blonde dreads, and and it all tied up with a big bandana on, and he just looked amazing. But I appreciate everything, so it's not that like I could just go and say, yeah, that was amazing, or they were. I'd feel like I'm putting,
Yeah.
I mean, the likes of Stone Broken they didn't start there, but you know what I mean. They've played and
on the way up.
Yeah, and look where they're at now. You know what I mean. Same with you guys, Liberty Lies. I've never had Liberty Lies on.
Yeah.
It's always been Thunder Chunkies. Maybe this year, eh?
Yeah.
But it's crazy. But like I said, from humble beginnings of starting a charity show for my cousin. 26 years ago, the mad thing is, we did it because the state wouldn't give him a wheelchair because he was growing quite big.
Right.
He was very tall, my cousin. He had like cerebral palsy.
Right.
And they wouldn't give him a wheelchair, like a new wheelchair. So we did this to fund our own for him. I spoke to my uncle and said, look, me and the band want to do this. But that turned into something else. The club where we originally started was packed, and we raised about $3,000, I think it was. And back then, $3,000 was a lot of bloody money.
Yeah.
And then lo and behold, we raised all that money, and the state gave him a chair. So my aunt and uncle decided to build him like a soft room.
Right.
With it, and it still went to him. And, and
still helped his life.
Yeah. God bless him. He's not with us, but
Good, it started well, didn't it? And everyone getting together to help him out. And
that's it. Yeah, and it just for me that shows what people are like. There's some good people, man.
Yeah, because the festivals. Is it dedicated to Simon Turner? Is that your cousin Simon? Was this
No.
Else?
Carl, I didn't want to make it like that with our Carl.
Carl's your cousin.
Yeah. we started with Carl, that one for Carl, but it's so when Si passed, everybody said to me, "Well, how come we didn't dedicate all? Why wouldn't you?" Because he's here, he's in my heart, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's difficult, get emotional and stuff, and so I try not to. I always think about him, but yeah, when Si passed, it was just a shock, you know what I mean? And we was good friends, and how I got the call for Si was my mother-in-law. She's very good, like her brother Rob from Crazy Horses.
Yeah,
very good friends with Chucky's brother. They're the ones who came up from Cornwall and stuff, and because Jan knew Chuck and said, just text me and said, "Did you know that Chuck's brother had died?" I was at work.
Yeah.
And didn't realise how close a friend we was. We were, so it took me back. And I always said I'd always dedicate it to him every single year, and I always have. Although I do mention, if I've had quite a few people pass, like, you know what I mean, and we've dedicated the show to them.
Yeah.
Si will always be on the t-shirts, or Si will always be on the logo.
Yeah.
Never forgotten.
Well, we had that the last year that we could have it here. We had the big screen, didn't we? And we had the
Fergie.
for different, but it's a nice touch to have people their pictures on the screen and just let it know that they're in people's thoughts. It's nice then because you've got everyone's there for a good time, but it's just remembering. But it's also got the charity thing, which makes it so it's a little bit deeper than just someone lined in the pockets.
It's we've stuck with Macmillan for years, which was something that I'd never done before. We always change every single year, but then Macmillan were the main charity when at Power, so I thought we do it for them. We get some support from them, we get some merchandise from them. You can get it anyway, but you do get that extra special, connection and help. So we stuck with them for years because cancer affects everybody. Yeah. But then I decided to change it up a bit last year, but then everything happened, and I didn't get the chance to choose a charity. We sort of knew one that we were going to do because my friend Si again from the SP band, his dad passed away.
Right.
So I'd spoke to the family and said, "Can we dedicate Judgestock to him?" Les, he was a war veteran. A good friend who's played. When Si stopped playing darts with us, I used to go and pick him up, and he just loved his darts and stuff, and we were just that close. My old band, the MBG guys, we're like brothers. You know what I mean? And we grew up together, and we're still in touch now, and so their parents are like close to us, and my parents are the same with them. So that was what I was going to do last year, but then everything's happened the way it did, and lo and behold, what's happened? Lost a few people during the COVID times.
Yeah.
And my plan this year is to do a montage rather than I will dedicate it to Les.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But I'm going to have pictures because my mate Ken passed away suddenly. Nothing to do with COVID, but just suddenly passed away. So I want to do something. Even if it's just a picture, a montage of pictures of people who lost over the years, or so if somebody wants to put a picture up, let's just get it on the screen.
It's good to have the platform in it because you don't always get the chance to. There's been we've all had such a. It's longer than a year now. We've had such a terrible 18 months to 2 years. So I think everyone's desperate to let off some steam.
Yeah.
But it's nice to have that platform for you just to let's get their face on a big screen and get their name mentioned. And it is good to get people talking about it.
So that's one thing I want to do. I mean, the plan is to get it done and out because I've not started to announce bands just yet. I want to get the tickets done, and then I'll get the tickets done in the next 4 weeks. I'll have it all out and ready to go. So
what can we expect from back at Splinter Studios?
Yeah, back at Splinter. Same as normal. I'm going to go for the three stages.
Yep.
We were in the works, as you know, to sort out the third one, the acoustic stage.
Trying to expand it, didn't we? Trying to get a bigger space for it. Yeah.
I got Paul England running the one. I've got to mention Abbo because I haven't mentioned him yet because he'll kill me if I don't.
That's it, you've ruined it now.
I know, yeah. Abbo takes on the second stage, and obviously Chris and Andre and Paul take on the top stage.
Yeah.
With me having to oversee it all.
Yeah.
But yeah, you got. I didn't mention Paul England, did I?
So you got the 3 stages again, like you had before. So you got the main stage upstairs, which you have a lot of the tribute bands, cover bands, some originals on there as well.
I've got, I think there's only one original band on there this year.
Okay, because it is just one day this year. Because it's a lot to get into 2 days.
What I've tried to do is I'm trying to this year. It's because a good friend of mine, Nath, had phoned me and said he had a signed band for us.
Yeah.
And what I'm trying to do this year is bands who've been loyal to us. Do you know what I mean? Get them on bands from the past and make it about that, because it was a 25-year celebration last year. That's what I was aiming for.
Yeah.
So that's what I'd aimed for last year, and with it being delayed, I've just gone for the same thing this year, and we'll celebrate it this year.
Yeah.
So it's going to be bands from the past that people haven't seen for a while.
Yeah.
Some of the bands, a lot of the bands I would have seen at previous events.
And are you making an appearance? Are you getting on stage?
Yeah.
A bit of Dirty Rocks.
Yeah, Dirty Rocks will be there, but it's again, it's.
Because you're being forced to,
and I seriously, I'd love to just take the break and just watch and appreciate. But it's a big stage for them to play, and I can see why.
And people come to see you as well. It's nice for them to.
It is. I mean, it's good, but it takes it out of you.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. Then you got to go and smash the drums, and and it winds me up if I have a bad session. Do you know what I mean? You know how it goes. If I play not so well, and I do get a bit miffed, and it sort of changes my mood for a few hours after it. Yeah. So
The third stage is generally acoustic, isn't it? Singer-songwriter kind of stuff.
It's all singer-songwriters on the acoustic stage. Probably some covers in there as well. There'll be covers.
Second stage is a little bit more.
There's second stage. You'll have some bands that do their own material mixed in with just your normal local bands, and then obviously we've got a couple of young ones playing early on. Again, I'm not sure if they're doing their own stuff but they actually use the studio here, so
Yeah.
There's
Good to get them on.
there's a few bands from the studio that are actually playing this year, so
yeah.
Yeah.
It's nice for me to be able to hear them and see them on stage rather than just through the walls down here. So I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah.
Right, so we're going to finish with this final question then. So I should have probably prepped you for this before.
Okay.
So, seeing as you've got your own festival,
had
it big stages, small stages. So, I want your 3-band dream lineup for a festival.
3 bands.
Yeah,
dream
3
lineup.
bands, and you can choose anyone.
Right. Okay.
But they've still got to be around today. So they've still got. Right. So when you've got to the Glastonbury Heights, who's 1, 2, and 3?
I'm sorry, guys. It's gonna have to all be rock on that. Slipknot would definitely be the first one for me. Yeah. I would have to have Metallica without a doubt. Yeah. They had such a big influence on me.
So who's headlining? Who's Metallica, trumping, Slipknot?
It would have to be Metallica headline. I mean, it's just sheer size of Metallica, isn't it? Let's be honest. I mean, Slipknot I love, but then it would have to be again. It would be Guns N' Roses. For me. Yeah, that would be the 3. But it's difficult to put them in an order there because they're such big in their own right.
Yeah.
And Metallica and Guns N' Roses had their issues years ago, but Axl seems to have grown up a bit now. Or been diagnosed, whatever he's been diagnosed with. But yeah, I mean that would be the.
It's a decent festival, isn't it? That.
Oh yeah. It would be that would be the ideal 3. Yeah.
Wicked. That was easier than I thought. I thought it was going to be more of a struggle. I don't know who I'd go with, but.
I mean, if you was to ask me 3 bands that if they weren't here, I would have said Led Zeppelin with Bonham.
Yeah.
Because I would have just loved to have seen Bonham play.
Yeah.
But with Planting Page on the road with somebody else, for me, it's not real.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's then it would be definitely Thin Lizzy.
Yeah.
100%. Massive Thin Lizzy fan. Yeah. And then the other one would be Mr. Jim Morrison and the Doors.
Oh, nice.
You know what I mean? That would be it.
Oh, what a festival.
Yeah.
That'd be wicked.
Yeah.
Right, so Judgestock 2021, 4th of September. It's at Splinter Studios, Wednesbury. Tickets on sale soon.
Yeah, tickets. Can I just touch on the ticket price?
Yeah, go for it.
This year we've lost all our sponsorship. So we've had to. It's always been £5 a ticket. Last year we put it up to 6 to try and out with costs because our main sponsorship we've lost. We've got a couple of sponsors that have come forward, which I'll probably mention in another time.
Yeah.
Unless I want to put U-Move in there for Jace. And I got to mention,
Boom.
Boom. I have to mention Concept, who've sponsored us the last 2 years.
Concept Interiors.
Yeah. I have to because they've sponsored us in hard times, and they were about to sponsor us again. Yeah. And they may still do that, but with the difficult times that everyone's in, they obviously everybody's in the same boat. So there's no pressure for them to sponsor us. But then his mom, my mate's mom, Margaret Watts, she's offered us 200 quid towards costs.
Oh, bless her.
You know what I mean? And I was like, oh man, I had to come off the phone and speak to my missus and say, man, I can't do it. I said, I can't, you know. So then she's offered it. So then I had to phone Lee and say, look, man, I can't take money off your mum, you know, and told him what was the crack. And he said, no. He said, look, if she's offering it, she'd probably be offended if you didn't take it now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So yeah, I got to put Margaret in there and you move. So yeah, that's why the ticket price this year will be £10 this year. It's our biggest increase ever.
Yeah.
But I think for what you get for a tenner.
And people have saved for 18 months. They've been going to the pub. So and it's going to a good cause. It's not like, and I can vouch for this, having been involved for the last few years. Nobody's making a profit from it. Everyone's putting the money back in. It's all for a good cause. And
it is,
there's not a lot of people. There's loads of people working there and not making anything, and they're all putting their
not
time.
One person
and
makes a penny.
And to be fair, I've been to many. I've always had a good time, and you could see from last time everyone was absolutely buzzing.
Yeah.
So,
and like I said, we've built it up here now, and it's like our new home. Do you know what I mean? And it's the atmosphere's here, and it went from a quite a year the first year. Then last year was just not last year, the year before now, and it was amazing. The turnout was amazing. The bands were amazing. Everything just like clockwork, and you know, maybe do more. You know.
Yeah. Well, if you've never been to Judgestock, there's if you head to Splinter Studios YouTube page, you can get a good glimpse of what it's like. But it's nothing like what it is in person. So make sure you come down 4th of September. £10 tickets will be available soon. They can find you on Facebook. Judgestock on
Facebook. Yeah, I don't know if Lex has got any Instagram. I'm a technophobe. I am, and Lex does all that for me. I have no dealings with the money side of things. All I do is just write the check at the end of it and pay the money to the charity. That's it.
Yeah.
I do everything else.
If you need any more information, find the Splinter Studios as well. We'll share everything, get everything.
See it on Facebook
in that space. Yeah. So everything's on Facebook.
Yeah.
If there's any other information you want to find, reach out to either us or Lee or any of the team that you've heard from. So I think that covers everything, mate. It's great to have a chat with you again.
Yeah, been good.
Yeah, hopefully we see all of you down at Judgestock in 2021.